Hey everyone, welcome to Storytime with Spidey. It's me, as always, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, here to bring you another exciting tale of adventure. Now, I know a lot of you are excited to find out what happened with our young friends Julian and Gloria from yesterday, and we'll get back to that. But today, I want to talk about a special story. You all know, I'm not the only superhero in the world, and mine are not the only comic books in the world. And sometimes in my travels, I've actually gone outside of what I normally do, places I normally don't go. So today we're going to talk about the time I met these guys, Batman and the Joker. I know that sounds a little far-fetched because normally I just can't go to Gotham. I don't go to Gotham, they stay where they are, and that's just how it works. But there was one time that it was actually allowed to happen. And you're going to see it in the pages of this comic book. This is fun. I'm so excited to tell you about this. It was really cool. But before we get into that, I need to introduce one other player that was involved in this story. And for that, we're going to have to refer to our trusty Marvel Encyclopedia. The guy that I'm going to introduce you to is called Carnage. Really scary looking guy, isn't he? He probably looks a little like Venom to you, and there's a reason for that. You see, the black suit that I once wore, which went on to join Eddie Brock and become Venom, it's a living creature called a symbiote. Now, what that basically means is that it has to attach to a host body in order to survive. Like, first it's attached to me, then to Brock. And just like dogs have puppies, cats have kittens, chickens have chicks, symbiotes have little baby symbiotes. And Venom's suit's baby attached to a guy named Cletus Cassidy. Cletus Cassidy is a very dangerous person. Now, normally, I don't like to use the word crazy because we kind of misuse and overuse that word. There's a lot of people who have problems and issues, past hurts, that they're trying to figure out how to deal with, and we shouldn't use the word crazy talking about them. But when it comes to someone like Carnage or the Joker, it fits, because these are guys who don't care if what they do is right or wrong. They just want to hurt people. And in fact, they enjoy seeing people hurt. They even think it's funny. And so, we're going to get into what happened when someone tried to stop Carnage and the Joker for good, and it just didn't work out. Where this starts is me having a bad dream about the night I lost my uncle. I'm always thinking about that night, about what I could have done differently. It's not just that I didn't stop the thief, it's how easily I could have. A tap of the palm, a flick of the wrist, it would have been done. But I let that guy get away, and it's been torturing me and haunting me ever since. So in this dream, I got there just a little too late. And so, when I got there, I tried to catch the guy, and I find him laughing in my face, which wakes me up rather suddenly. And I see that I'm in my normal place, everything is normal around me. Now, here in this story, I have a wife. Her name is Mary Jane. She is very understanding and supportive. And even though I don't say anything to her about what I really want to do, which is get outside and swing around to clear my head, she understands that that's what I want, so she tells me that my costume is in the wash basket, and then she goes back to sleep. And off I go, thinking about how lucky I am to have her. How lucky I am that I had my Aunt May that kept me grounded. I don't mean on punishment, but I mean keeping my head straight and just helping me through the tough times both before and after I became a superhero. Meanwhile, in Gotham, Batman is having a dream kind of like that about the time he lost his parents. He was very young, and a very bad man took his parents away from him right in front of him. He's always hated that happened, and so he became Batman to protect people so that other people don't have to feel what he felt. Now when he wakes up, there's no wife to comfort him, but he does have his trusty butler, Alfred. Alfred has always been like a father to him ever since he was little because he had no one else. And so he decides to do the same thing. Go out swinging and kind of get his head right, because that's just who he is. Now I find myself looking at the dangerous Cletus Cassidy, also known as Carnage, alongside my friend Dr. Ashley Kafka. Dr. Kafka is somebody that tries to help people that have the past hurts that I was talking about, and she's really been trying to help Carnage get his head right so that he's no longer dangerous, but she hasn't been having a lot of luck. So much so that Carnage tries to attack her right then and there, and I had to stop him. And here we meet Dr. Breyer. Dr. Breyer believes that she can cure Carnage once and for all by putting a chip in his brain that will stop his violent thoughts. It sounds like a great idea, but it's really a cruel thing to do. And if it doesn't work, you could really hurt the person instead of helping them. Going back to Gotham, we see the Joker threatening the city with these bats that he injected a virus into. Now the plan is that he releases the bats across the city, and everyone that gets bitten will be just like him. Not caring about right or wrong, just, well, crazy. But Batman can't allow that. So he captures Joker, turns him in, and Dr. Kafka decides that she's going to work her weird science on both Carnage and Joker so that they will no longer be a threat to innocent people. Again, sounds like a good idea in theory, but now as we see here, Carnage and Joker both have the chip and they are no longer dangerous, or so it seems. It turns out Carnage was only pretending to be cured. The whole time he was just waiting for a chance to escape. But luckily, you have to excuse my sticky fingers. Luckily, Batman and I arrived at the scene just in time to save the day. I saved Breyer, and Carnage turned his attention to Batman. But in truth, he wasn't thinking about either of us. What he really wanted was the Joker. So, he launched spikes out of his symbiote at innocent people to make sure that we would be too busy to chase after him, and he escaped with the Joker. So, Batman and I go to a rooftop to discuss what's going to happen next, and I find out that Batman doesn't want my help. He's the kind of guy that thinks he can handle everything by himself, and he doesn't want other superheroes stepping in and interfering. I didn't appreciate him saying that to me, but I respected him, even though I told him I'm just trying to help. And he says to me, I don't need your help, or want it. That's how he sounded. And here we find Carnage and Joker in a secret lair where Carnage removes the chip, making Joker peaceful. And Joker goes back to his old ways. Meanwhile, Batman is in his famous Batcave, trying to study Carnage and figure out how he thinks. The problem is, Carnage is not the kind of person who really thinks before he acts. He'd do better to just find somebody that had experience dealing with Carnage and working with them. Now, who could he find like that? Meanwhile, I'm swinging around, trying to clear my head. I'm a little blown away because I just met the legendary Batman, and I kind of wonder, maybe I should just leave Gotham and let him deal with the situation by himself. Until I find a woman in danger. Now you remember, the last time I heard someone yell for help and I ignored them, it turned out bad for me. So, I don't do that anymore. I stopped this bad guy and saved the lady. And then Batman shows up, wanting me to get in his Batmobile with him. How cool was that to actually get to ride in the Batmobile? And so here we have Carnage and Joker talking about how they're going to spread pain and chaos, but they can't even agree on how to do it. It's funny how bad guys don't know how to get along, even when they both want the same thing. And so, Joker blows up the lair, and Batman and I arrive just after. But it turns out, Carnage wasn't hurt by the explosion at all. And he grabs Batman, telling me to stay away or he'll finish him off for good. Then Joker shows up. And it's the craziest thing. There's that word again, crazy. Joker is going to release his virus all over the city if Carnage doesn't let Joker go. Now, he's not trying to save Batman, don't think that. He wants Batman all to himself, and he definitely doesn't want some other villain doing anything to him. And Carnage gets so spooked, so freaked out, that he actually loses control of his symbiote, which is just the opening Batman needs. Because now, without the symbiote protecting him, Batman can take him down. Underneath that symbiote, he's just a normal guy. And so Batman takes him down. And he's no longer a problem. But then Joker tries to escape. And I'm not going to let that happen. But I'm angry at what he's done and how he's acted. So when I catch up to him, I'm so angry, I'm actually thinking about killing him. But I would never do that, because I don't want to ever become like he is. Doesn't mean I'm going to let him get away, though. As you can see, he's no match for me. Oh, my assistant was just reminding me to explain what a symbiote is, and for those just joining in, as I said, that's the living creature that poses as Carnage's suit, just like the one Venom has. But as I said, without it, Batman was able to take Carnage down easily, but not quite as easily as I took down Joker. He's no match for me. Then, I have a really cool moment with Batman, where we shake hands. Because when it was all said and done, we're on the same side, we want the same thing, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be friends. And so as he stands there, the protector of Gotham, the guardian of the night, and me, the web-swinging wonder, we both go back to our regular hero duties. That was a fun adventure. I mean, yeah, it was scary at times because I didn't know if we were going to win, but as you saw, as it's supposed to be, the good guys came out on top. And that's our story. Excuse the music. And so that's our adventure for now. Thank you once again for tuning in to Storytime with Spidey. I'll have another adventure for you very soon. And until then, Excelsior!
Just like guys, look out! Here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud. He's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a